I don't think it's practical for me to stop and talk through every single photograph because this video will never end. Brown leaves, frost on them, photograph. Moving on. Oh God, I'm very excited this morning. Very excited because it's really cold. And as I was driving up here, everything's covered in this lovely white layer of hoarfrost. Well, I say everything in open spaces and down in the valleys. But there's a problem. I don't know where I am and I don't know where I'm going. Also, I need to say thank you to Squarespace. That's right, Squarespace is sponsoring this video. So if you want a website or an online store, go to squarespace.com/Heaton. And hey, I'm just saying, if you want to take that a bit further, use the promo code Heaton for 10% off. Anyway, cracking on. Let's see if we can find some images, because I don't have long before the sun comes up and starts to melt this frost. Couple of things you should know about me. One is I'm the type of photographer who likes to take his time. I like to just get one or two well thought out images from a shoot. Two is that I very rarely shoot woodland. So I think this morning you're actually going to see something different from me. You're going to see me shooting woodland, and you're probably going to see me shoot lots of images as I desperately try and capture the beauty of this morning. So should be a slightly different video than normal. I'm going to start right now with these trees just here. Well, I say trees, there are trees, but there's also some reeds. Everything's covered in frost. It's absolutely fantastic. And as I've approached this composition and gotten a lot closer to it, I'm actually seeing a rather nice image start to unfold. And that's what you get by just having a wander around and looking at your subject. So when I spotted these reeds and the trees, I thought, oh, there's definitely a photograph there. I was thinking of focusing in on the reeds and going for a rather abstract image. But as I've come to shoot it, what I'm seeing are layers, lots and lots of layers. We've got the frozen grass, the frozen reeds, the frozen trees, and then above the frozen trees we've got slightly less frozen trees, because it's a heck of a lot colder down in the valley than it is maybe 200 or 300 feet higher up. And as a result you get layers of frost. So I think this is going to be my first image of this beautiful frosty morning in the northeast of England. Amazing. So as I said earlier, you can expect this to be a different type of video. One thing I don't do a lot of is close-up photography. I'm not talking macro, because I don't have a macro lens with me. But when you've got a frost like this, images just appear everywhere. Images appear where there were previously no images, or where you may think there wasn't an image. So to come out on a cold, frosty morning is just one of the best ways to spend your time with a camera. So here we have a twig, a branch. You know, I'm not gonna sugarcoat it. It's nothing special, but it is covered in this white frost, and behind it is white frozen woodland. So when you focus on this branch, which has a lovely shape to it, hanging over with these lovely brown buds on, all covered in a white crisp frost, it makes for a fantastic winter's image. It's just lovely. And I suppose the challenge with an image like this is to make sure that you have a background completely free of any distraction. So once I've framed it with a background that's not going to give me any distraction, the next thing I need to do is choose my aperture. I want a nice big aperture to throw the background completely out of focus. I don't want to go maximum aperture because you may lose a touch of sharpness. So I'm shooting on f5.6 at about 135mm, which is plenty to throw the background completely out of focus and give me a lovely crisp winter's image. 135mm, f5.6, no distractions in the background, absolutely magic. So I mentioned this morning that I didn't know where I was and I didn't know what I was looking for. And that's true, because actually my plan for this morning was to go to a woodland that I know very well. As a mountain biker, I know it inside and out like the back of my hand. But I've never photographed there. The problem was the woodland is at quite high altitude. And actually all the frost and all the cold air is down in the valleys. So that is why I don't know where I am and I don't know what I'm looking for. So I started to panic a little bit because as the lights creep in over the hill and into the valley, it's just melting the frost on contact. But what I have found is a rather lovely little composition. But we have this, I don't know what it is, I don't know my foliage, I don't know what you'd call it, but we just have a bush, right? It's a bush, but it's absolutely fantastic. It has these long green fingers all pointing upwards like a hand, a bit like this, like a hand cupping, and they're all covered in this lovely white frost. It's like, it sort of looks like something you would expect to see in a desert. And then in the background we've got these fantastic silver birch, and their tree trunks and branches just stand out as they glow like fantastically white and silver. Although it's lovely and frosty, you still have the challenges of chaos and trying to find a composition or find an image or to make sense of the chaos that is around. I am incredibly happy with this photograph. I think it has a lovely muted quality to it and certainly has enough interest. Beautifully still, crisp, cold and frosty. Absolutely magic. Rising sun has forced me into the final pocket of shade where we're finding the last of the frost. And what that's done is it's stopped me looking for the bigger picture, if you will, and it's forced me to look at the more intimate detail. And I'm loving it. I'm just shooting anything. I'm just focusing on these wonderful frost-covered branches. Got a fantastic composition here, absolutely magic. f3.5 to throw the background completely out of focus. So again, it's looking for order. It's trying to make sense in an otherwise cluttered and clustered environment. So this shot here is just simple. It's white, crisp, silver, wintry, no distraction, no colour, just fantastic form of the branches as they curve through the composition. And these detail shots, I'm really digging. I'm thoroughly enjoying them. Absolutely magic. like a kid in a playground. I don't think it's practical for me to stop and talk through every single photograph because this video will never end. But it's great, I'm really enjoying myself. Here we go. Brown leaves, frost on them, photograph. Moving on. I am looking for something very specific, something in particular that will round off my morning nicely. What I'm looking for is a splash of colour in a completely white, frosty image. So I haven't found that splash of colour that I was looking for amongst all of the frost. But what I have found is this fantastic tree with these deep, rich, brown chestnut leaves on them. And it's just fantastic. We've got lovely, soft, dappled light, or it was soft, dappled light coming through the trees and hitting the leaves that just have a light frost on them. It looks absolutely magic, so rich, so deep. The tonality is just, it's fantastic. Now, it's a simple-ish composition. I'm shooting with a shallow depth of field and I'm going tight in on the scene to really just show the leaves and to throw the background out of focus, which is a complete mess. But I think the lesson here definitely is to look closer. The rising sun has forced me into the corner of the meadow, which meant I only had, I didn't have much to work with. I had to look at the intimate landscape. So this could well be my favourite image of the morning. And it's one that I would have never looked at if I had a bigger, wider area to search. But it just caught my eye and it's just fantastic. The colour of the leaves, the richness, the dark golden browns, absolutely fantastic. And you can see now, if we just be quiet for a second, I don't know if you can hear that, but it sounds like rain. Lots of drops of water, and that is because no more than 2 minutes ago the sun has come through and hit this area and it's just melting the frost so quickly. So I'm really happy to have got the images I've got this morning. I'm really happy to have got this image. Just, again, a hidden gem, I think. Absolutely stunning. Okay, so I'm taking lots of images this morning, a lot more than I normally would take when making a video, so I can't film them all. So I'm going to make this my last image. And it's fantastic. A really, really bright sunlight now, but we have a single tree which still has frost on it, although it's very, very quickly melting. The sunlight isn't reaching the woods beyond the tree. So they're pretty much casting shadow, which is almost jet black. And the side light is just catching the tree perfectly, making it stand out and contrast against the dark background. Very difficult for me to film because of the bright sunlight. But what I am doing is I'm using a little pouch here just to shield the lens from the sun. Vertical composition, f11. And it's just stunning. You just can't beat a good old bit of winter. Absolutely fantastic. So when you're packing your camera gear away after a cold shoot, always put it in your bag, zip your bag shut, and when your bag goes in your house or in the car, don't open your bag. Leave it at least an hour or a couple of hours so that the air inside the bag slowly warms up. If you take a cold camera into a warm house, there's always a risk of condensation, and you don't want that on your sensor. I really hope you like this video, because next week's video is horrible. It's wet, it's windy, it's cold, I take rubbish photographs, and I do a lot of complaining.
Thanks again to Squarespace for supporting this video. If you don't know who Squarespace are, they're basically an all-in-one platform where you go and you build your website and you get your domain and you build your shop and all that kind of thing. They've got 24/7 customer service and award-winning designs. So if you are thinking about making your own website, go to squarespace.com/Heaton and start a free trial. And if you enjoy that free trial and you want to buy something, use the promo code Heaton and you get 10% off your first purchase. Please make your next move with Squarespace. All right, make sure you tune in next week for horrible weather and more dreary landscapes. Bye for now.
We all make mistakes, okay? And I'm no different. Did I mention that the cabin where I'm staying has a hot tub? Sometimes I question what I'm doing, you know.